some say, is the end of nowhere. Thousands of square miles of sandy wastes and eroded soil. This is the desert of the Negev, more than one half of the land of Israel. The roar of trucks shatters the awesome silence. On and down they plunge on the asphalt road, the first sign of civilization. The transformation of this wasteland into a chain of flourishing communities is the historic task confronting the present generation of Israel, just as the draining of the swamps in the valley of Jezreel was an historic challenge half a century ago. Suddenly, out of nowhere, at the end of this vast stretch of desert, a city. A city called Eilat. Gateway to the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean, key to the revival of the Negev. The world of Eilat is compressed within 6 miles of coastline. In the west lies Egypt, in the east the Kingdom of Jordan. It is not a big town, certainly not a metropolitan city, but it has all the characteristics of a modern community. Although quite different from all other towns built in Israel in recent years, it is still very similar. Its population a blending of Jews from all over the world. 1/4 from North Africa. 1/4 from Eastern Europe. 1/4 native-born Israelis. And the rest from 18 countries, maybe 20, maybe more. In this pioneer town, raw, unfinished as it is, the working day begins with the rising of the sun. People get up early to beat the heat. They get up early because there's a lot of work in a city officially described as a development town, a town still being planned and under construction. For the hundreds of children, 3 elementary schools have already been built. For the older students, a new high school has just been completed. And of course, there is a steadily growing number of kindergartens. Like most of the people in Eilat, except for the younger children, Shimon is an immigrant. He came to Israel from Eastern Europe in 1954. In 1956, he took part in the Sinai campaign, which liberated Eilat from a tightly controlled blockade in the Red Sea. He was fascinated by the strange, romantic beauty of this place and decided to make it his home. He remembers how every brick for building this town, every scrap of food, had to be transported over the then trackless wilderness. When he came here in 1956, not more than 700 people lived in Eilat. Now there are more than 8,000. Like other immigrants, Shimon is part of the steadily growing labor force which has made the port of Eilat Israel's outlet to Africa and the Far East. He's a foreman in charge of 100 men. Every morning he assigns the day's work. In this new port, in this new town, almost everyone is new at his job. Stevedores today, chances are they were tailors, storekeepers, clerks before they came to Eilat. It was from here that the galleys built for King Solomon sailed away carrying copper and probably salt, bringing back gold and spices from the fabled land of Ophir. Now, ships from many nations are developing a trade that links Israel with India and Burma, the Philippines and Ethiopia, Australia and Japan. Many cargoes are transported by Israel's own merchant marine. Perhaps it was here, near this port, that the Israelites, under the banner of Moses, arrived on their way to the Promised Land after fleeing from Egyptian bondage. This is one harbor in Israel which exports more than it imports. While the Suez Canal is closed to all shipping going to and from Israel, the port of Eilat has had to assume a major role in Israel's ever-increasing trade with the East. The hard facts of politics and geography have turned the end of nowhere into a road to many distant lands. The road is a long sea lane through the Gulf leading to the Red Sea. This road, touching 3 Arab countries, must still be guarded. Units of the Israel Navy are always on the alert. Distant lands come the many tourists who visit Eilat all year round. Mostly they come by plane on a direct 1-hour flight from Tel Aviv. The 7 daily flights of the local airline bring not only tourists, but also government officials carrying plans and blueprints stuffed into their ever-present briefcases. Eilat and its surroundings present a scenic and biblical wonderland. There is a strange rock formation known as the Pillars of Solomon. Erosion has cut the cliff into giant half columns. The tourists might imagine altars built at the base of these columns and wonder at the forces of nature that shaped this mighty temple. In this inspiring and peaceful setting, the tourist can find all the comforts and even the luxuries of a modern seaside resort. Eilat now has 8 comfortable hotels. Only a few years ago, there wasn't a single hotel room, and a visitor was lucky if he could get something to eat. The sun-dappled seashore is a haven of fun and leisure for the tourists and for the people of Eilat, who can relax here after the day's work. They have life made famous along the Riviera and the coast of Florida. The best time for a vacation is in midwinter, when the climate is mild, the water warm, and the sun shines brightly all day. Through a pane of glass, one can peer deep into a sea of magnificent coral and breathtaking species of marine life. Beneath the water's surface lies a silent, exotic world waiting to be explored. Some of the most bizarre creatures of the deep have found a new home in the city's aquarium. Here, not only skin divers can watch this amazing tropical life beneath the sea. Like all resorts, Eilat asks to be remembered. A popular souvenir is a glass bottle filled by patient skill with the natural colored sands found on the outskirts of the town. Diligent fingers fashion works of beauty using locally available ceramic materials. While some visitors arrive in the morning and leave before dusk, others fall under the spell of this city of strange contrasts. They return to the north only after many days of sun and sea, determined to come back again to this bustling, beautiful, lonely end of nowhere. Fishing in Eilat is not a spare-time hobby, but a year-round industry. There is a catch almost every day. But when spring comes, there's a continuous search for the big catch, the palamida, a kind of tuna. Many times the search for the palamidas is disappointing, and the fishing boats return empty after a full day's lookout. But with each new day, yesterday's bad luck is forgotten, and the quest for the big fish has begun anew. Sooner or later, as inevitable as the passage of time, the palamidas arrive, swarming into the Gulf in huge numbers. It is like a bond of faith between the sea and the people of Eilat, a bond that is renewed each year. It's a good catch. Hundreds of tons of fish for the canning plant, which must hire extra hands for this, the busiest season of the year. The growth of the fishing industry is but one of the many items confronting the city council. Like the rest of Eilat, the city council is made up of a cross-section of immigrants from many lands. Here, democracy is put to work in the practical daily business of running a growing city. Nobody gets a salary except the mayor, an immigrant from Egypt. And then only because he works at his job full-time, meaning about 20 hours a day. They're discussing the problem of water and water shortages, the construction of new schools and kindergartens, and most important, the absorption of new immigrants. The immigrants come now at the rate of about 1,500 a year, mostly by bus from the port of Haifa, and a few, like these Yemenites, directly through the Red Sea. The last stragglers of a once large Jewish community, all the others having left Yemen in a mass evacuation by air more than 10 years ago. Here the Queen of Sheba and her servants may have arrived on their way to King Solomon in Jerusalem. These new immigrants, a reminder of those long-forgotten days, do not bear riches or gifts. They bring very little. What they bring is a strong wish for a new home. Waiting for each family is an apartment with all the basic necessities, including an air cooler especially designed for the hot, dry climate of Eilat. For all the newcomers, there's plenty of work. Perhaps not the kind of work that some of the immigrants would like. It's hard work, heavy physical work. But how many clerks, storekeepers, salesmen can Eilat absorb? Some could not stand this kind of physical labor and left to find easier jobs, easier living conditions in the cities north of the Negev. But the flow of newcomers continues, and the construction of new houses never stops. New houses mean new homes for new immigrants. New immigrants mean a growing city, a more prosperous, less isolated community. With each new home on the horizon of Eilat, the desert retreats another step. Step by step, the desert wastes are conquered. Valiant conquerors, just new immigrants and veteran Israelis. They're simply building their city and suffer like everybody else from the oppressive heat in this part of Israel. "104 degrees. In midsummer, it reaches 120. Nowhere else in Israel do people drink so much as they do in Eilat. Specially purified water is distributed daily throughout the city, though most people use the unfiltered water flowing from their kitchen faucets. The water in Eilat is piped 25 miles through the desert from ancient springs farther north. Perhaps with the success of the desalination projects, the water from the sea will be made sweet, and the water trucks will disappear. At noon, when the temperature reaches its peak, work comes to a complete stop. Most people retire behind their shuttered windows. Eilat takes on the look of a ghost town. "15 miles from the city, at the Timna copper mines, production goes on continuously. Is this the Valley of the Smith described in the Book of Chronicles? Modern machinery and installations have replaced the primitive smelting plants of King Solomon's mines, which were not far from here. Powerful drills have replaced the primitive pick and shovel operations of times gone by. Deposits are accessible to surface mining. 20 tons of semi-refined copper are produced every day. For these valuable 20 tons, 1,000 tons of earth and rock have to be moved and processed. Decades ago, Jewish policemen and farmers, Jewish sailors and bricklayers excited the imagination of the Jewish people. In modern-day Israel, no occupation is considered unusual. Even Jewish miners are taken for granted. The miners of Timna, like miners everywhere, are a breed apart, with extra quantities of strength and stamina. Timna keeps going 24 hours a day. 500 men work in 3 shifts. But as production increases, more and more men are needed. Skilled miners to extract the copper and trained mining engineers to direct them. While training goes on, unskilled workers try their hand at this back-breaking job. It is not easy, But they try. They begin to learn. While the miners work underground where there is no day or night, evening comes to Eilat. The steep, stark hills around the Gulf are touched with the fading light of the setting sun. Soldiers of the Israel Army take up their posts, ensuring the safety of the border. But everything looks quiet and serene, even the soldier on his lonely patrol. The town relaxes in the cooling breeze of the evening. Only in Timna and in the port, work continues throughout the night. The nights are long for some. Eilat has the one quality which pioneer towns everywhere seem to share. Too many bachelors, not enough girls. 700 bachelors, and at last count, only 45 single girls. But still they've fallen in love. In love with Eilat, a pioneer town without gambling dens and saloons. A club called End of the World, with dance music, but not one girl to dance with. Yet hope springs eternal. Eternal, but too often it springs too soon. Still, there are happily married couples. The maternity wing of the new hospital is kept busy. 1,000 children have been born in Eilat. For each newborn child, a tree is planted by the father in the public garden. 1,000 children, 1,000 trees. As the children grow up, they tend their own trees and watch them grow as they grow too. Once a year, Eilat is flooded with visitors. It's the Passover season, the time which marks the freedom of the children of Israel from Egyptian slavery. A holiday marking also the anniversary of the city. They come from every corner of Israel by bus and truck and plane. By the thousands they come to join the people of Eilat. Israelis and tourists transform the beach into a vast camping and picnic ground, taking part in this old and new festival of freedom. In the newly built amphitheater, the final rehearsal for the evening's performance. It is time now to light another candle for Eilat's birthday. To light up the skies with a message of hope and confidence. Eilat, a new symbol of the pioneering spirit that built Israel. A gleaming, glowing light on Israel's horizon. This is the city called Eilat.